Everybody, I'm Gojo, and I'm bringing you guys another what if. Also, if you guys are wondering why I've not actually posted for a few days, it's because I was kind of sick and yeah, because of coughing. Because I knew that this coughing might kind of cause me a little bit of problem if I actually talk and explain the what if. So even with power scaling as well, which will most likely be really annoying, but for you guys, I'm gonna try and endure it. Yeah, it kind of happens a few seconds or minutes. So yeah. But for now, I know you guys are here. It's not because of my coughing, but because of the story. And none other than what if Goku and Vegeta were sent to Beerus' world. So yeah. Now, of course, how this happened, you might ask. Well, I must say this happens between Goku's birth. Even between Goku's birth and a place before actually Vegeta goes off planet. This actually means that Goku would still be just a baby at the time. Now, of course, this will most likely lead to some difference in the events of the original Dragon Ball. Now, unlike in canon, Vegeta will actually be on planet Vegeta as Frieza would have ordered them. Of course, this would mean that Vegeta would have been able to make it. Of course, Indianapolis had to practically stay behind since they had to do their mission while Vegeta has actually finished his. But of course, after finding out from Bardock, because in the timeline, Bardock is actually Vegeta's mentor when he was just a kid. Because Bardock, even though he was a low-class Saiyan, was able to be one of the highest low-class Saiyans nonetheless. Even able to be proven to almost to be close to the elite level. Even with his current Zenkai boost he was able to gain, he actually stood the same power as King Vegeta himself. So to put it simply, Vegeta has at least a most respect for Bardock, because Bardock not only did teach him how to probably use some of his techniques, but also to grow stronger and to never give up in a battle. So seeing that his son may be able to see him being a low class Saiyan and eventually grow stronger as him, Vegeta actually wanted to practically join Goku when Bardock wants to send Goku to Earth. Because Vegeta believes that in time maybe he'll be able to help Goku grow stronger and eventually succeed Bardock. Of course, Bardock just smiled at Vegeta and wishes both of them good luck, and eventually sends both of them off planet. But Bardock actually kind of forgot to put the coordinates to Earth, meaning that Vegeta was practically aimed endlessly. Of course, Vegeta would have tried to fix the coordinates, but it would be already too late because the ship would have taken off. Now, because of Vegeta's power level, most likely Frieza was able to notice, but because of Bardock's influence, also able to practically convince King Vegeta to practically attack together, but because King Vegeta actually did, means that Bardock would practically have to face him by himself. Even though he wanted to convince the king, he knew that it may be not that simple. So of course, Bardock had to practically face off against the Frieza soldiers, and which caused much more better havoc is he used his great form. It would practically cause Frieza's blast to actually kind of be much more pushed back, and because of the greatest amounts of power levels being thrown at each other, most likely Frieza was not able to attack Vegeta's power level. Of course, you're able to learn how to suppress power level, but it will only be able to suppress to at least 8,000 at best, if he tries his hardest. So of course, this will be just enough being with Bardock using his great form. Of course, eventually, Bardock was still being killed, and eventually the planet Vegeta will be destroyed. As for Goku and Vegeta was sent to Beerus' world because of the ship practically traveling through space and eventually being damaged through one of the cores. So yeah, because of course both of them wouldn't have landed on Beerus' world. Now of course on Beerus' world, Beerus was actually been awake at the time. Of course, he was had to practically take a nap, but eventually he hears a crash on his planet. Of course, Beerus learns of who probably decides to intrude him in his place, and eventually decides to also accompany him. And eventually they both meet the two young boys. Of course, Beerus actually surprised because to see Vegeta, because he never thought that Vegeta would actually make it here. He thought that maybe in a couple of years when Vegeta becomes an adult, maybe, but right now as a young boy, that was actually kind of surprising for Beerus. Of course, he was also surprised to see the young boy, and eventually thinks of maybe even erasing him. But eventually sees Whis' perplexed expression, even expression of doubt. Of course, Beerus then asks Whis on what he has in mind. Of course, Whis actually explains to Beerus that maybe he doesn't have to actually wait that long for a Super Saiyan God, if he wants to practically get one. Of course, Beerus actually is pondered by Whis' idea and eventually asks him to say right now. Of course, Whis believes that maybe if he trains the two boys, he would practically give Beerus a Super Saiyan God. Of course, Beerus practically intrigued the idea and decides to practically take a nap, to practically allow the boys to grow stronger and eventually become adults so they can battle him at their mightiest. Of course, Whis actually decides to take on this task to train both of the boys. And of course, Beerus tells him to not hold back on them because he wants to become as strong as possible. Of course, Whis decides to practically do as Beerus asks and eventually does as well. Of course, Whis is able to train both Goku and Vegeta. It was practically teaching him the basics of ki control due to him practically getting used to the divine energy. He was easily able to teach him how to use ki control and eventually how to obtain God Ki. Of course, by the time, both Goku and Vegeta would have grown a lot older. Now, this will be a little bit of a time skip, at least the same time skip that would happen with Goku practically landing on grabbing Gohan's house. So yeah, Goku and Vegeta would have grown immensely stronger, with them reaching higher power levels. Now, I'm just saying these power levels are their current power levels for now because they're training inside glimpses of God Ki. Now, I'm not lowballing Goku and Vegeta, but I'm just giving them the power levels that I think will most likely be sufficient for both of them. Now, after a couple of years of training with Whis, Goku was able to reach a power level of at least around 10 billion. Now, this actually doesn't seem to be far-fetched because Goku was able to practically obtain God Ki. So obtaining God Ki will practically boost Goku's base immensely. Of course, Vegeta actually be a little bit above Goku because of his body being much more better for fighting. Goku is still young. This, of course, will mean that Vegeta will be around at least 20 billion, being at least higher than Goku, but due to Goku's practically hard work and training, he was practically decided to catch up to Vegeta. So Vegeta is only 2 times stronger than him. So yeah. Of course, we surprised decided to send both the boys to Earth because Vegeta actually wanted to visit it. And of course, they're easily able to handle the threats in like King Piccolo and the Red Ribbon Army. If you guys are wondering, in this timeline, the Red Ribbon Army will not be that big of a threat. Of course, it will be still big of a threat, but due to having much more better time to prepare, they will most likely be easily be annihilated by Goku and Vegeta. Of course, the troll will still able to survive by pure luck in these odds. So yeah. So the androids in the future will still be created. As well, Goku and Vegeta will continue to save the planet and eventually make sure that it's okay and eventually go back to Beerus' world by asking Whis to transport him back. Of course, Vegeta also would have met with Bulma, and eventually Bulma actually have a crush on him, almost like Chi-Chi with Goku. But of course, actually wants to become stronger so they can practically see the two boys again. So of course, in the timeline, Bulma actually is able to help Chi-Chi grow stronger as she uses a gravity machine. Of course, the gravity room. Of course, they'll practically realize that the gravity on Earth is pretty weak after a couple of years and may be able to provide themselves with this machine. As of course, Goku and Vegeta continue their training and increase in their powers. Of course, eventually both boys were able to achieve Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan 2. Of course, this will probably surprise Vegeta because they have achieved and even surpassed the legend of the Saiyans. But of course, Whis explains to them that the Super Saiyan form is pretty basic, saying that they can actually go even further if they want to, but telling them that Super Saiyan 2 will be much more beneficial for them. Of course, you'll actually ask Whis on what he means. Whis explains that he can actually went to Namek at one time and uses the Namek in Dragon Balls to find out how many forms a Saiyan has. Because Whis was indeed knowledgeable about many things of the universe, but he wanted to know about the Saiyan's potential in achieving forms. And of course, he was able to find out that Saiyans could achieve a maximum of at least 5. With of course, all 5 being non-pure God transformations. Of course, Goku and Vegeta thought that maybe they could only achieve at least 3, but all 5 was actually pretty surprising to both of them. Of course, this explains that the 5th transformation is much more hard to obtain, and the 4th is actually pretty easy because they need to master the grade 8 forms. Of course, Goku and Vegeta were pretty interested in that, but they decided to practically continue on with their God training, believing that for now they need to master their control over God Ki so they can increase their powers. And Whis did not doubt that, believing that in due time, both of them were able to grow strong enough so they can surpass even Beerus. Of course, time would pass and eventually Goku and Vegeta were able to master Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan 2, growing even stronger than ever before, and eventually their power continued to increase. Of course, Piccolo Jr. will still be alive, but because of him practically knowing about Goku and Vegeta, he would train even harder than the original timeline, practically pushing himself further and further as he continues to increase his power. Of course, Goku and Vegeta would have known about Piccolo, but they decided to practically let him get stronger, since they believe that at the current level that they are now, they'll most likely easily able to decimate Piccolo with no difficulty. But they still want to give the Namekian a chance to prove himself to see how strong he is, truly. Goku and Vegeta have mastered ki control and even are able to now control their God Ki within them, thanks to Whis' help. Of course, both of them cannot still act as Super Saiyan God, but they can infuse the Super Saiyan God Ki itself with their Super Saiyan transformations. Goku has achieved Super Saiyan 3 alongside Vegeta, and both of them have actually able to perfect the form, able to practically utilize it for much longer than the form would actually allow them to. They can practically use the form for at least a day or 2, but that is the maximum they can do. They need to practically master it to a point that they can use it all the time, just like they did for their previous forms. They even train with their graded forms and try to practically achieve the Super Saiyan 4 transfers that we told them about, but they could not still get because of their lack of control over the grade 8. Vegeta actually had much control over the grade 8 form, But of course, it was pretty difficult for him to hold it when he was in his golden graded form. As for Goku, he would practically lose control because of it. So yeah. Of course, they'll continue to train and increase their power, and eventually we're able to go to a tournament to face off against Piccolo Jr. Of course, Piccolo Jr. will be ready to face off against them. And this time, Piccolo Jr. is able to reach a power level of around 10,000. Now, it doesn't actually seem to be that far-fetched, since Piccolo, when he trained with Gohan, was able to reach an incredibly high power level. So, putting this power level to Piccolo in this saga will pretty much make it much more even. So, yeah. But of course, Goku and Vegeta were actually able to surprise themselves, even gain weighted calls thanks to Whis. With these weighted calls, they're able to practically slow them down and even decrease their power levels, practically suppressing themselves so they can see how far Piccolo can go. Of course, after finding out how strong Piccolo is, they are both kind of disappointed, but actually see that Neneki has a lot of potential. Of course, they're able to defeat Piccolo and eventually even win the entire tournament. Of course, they both decide to face against one another and eventually lose slightly a bit of their full power and base. Of course, this surprises almost all the odds, even Master Roshi and Krillin, as they see the power of the two. Of course, Goku is actually going to Master Roshi from time to time to learn something, but of course, he was most likely just basic martial arts. And of course, due to his being a much more better trainer, he does practically teach Goku almost every martial art on Earth. So Goku is pretty knowledgeable about martial arts very much as well, just like Vegeta is as well. So yeah, both of them have grown to be incredible martial arts geniuses, and eventually even proved to everyone as well. Of course, both Bulma and Ichigo then confess their feelings to Goku and Vegeta. Of course, both of them were quite surprised, but had to practically agree to Goku's choice. They eventually had to marry them. Of course, Whis was pretty happy to see the boys practically growing up so fast, and he was even happy as he actually kind of saw Whis as their uncle figure. Goku and Vegeta saw him as that, and Whis was pretty happy to hear that, and eventually even attended their parties. Of course, Goku and Vegeta actually decided to practically get their wives to Beerus' plan, believing that this is the best way. Of course, Whis was able to practically make an area for both Bulma and Chicho practically have their own peaceful time while Goku and Vegeta train, since Beerus' planet is pretty big, so they can do whatever they want. Of course, both Bulma and Chicho were pretty fascinated by the planet itself, and even Bulma was pretty wanting to research it, which of course we practically allow her, as long as she doesn't wake up or Lord Beerus. Of course, they were confused with who Lord Beerus is, but eventually, after the explanation of Whis, they're easily frightened that Whis actually probably trained Goku and Vegeta to practically face off a god of destruction. So in this timeline, they both allow their husbands to train as long as they want because they don't want to be destroyed by Beerus if he finds out about them. Since he knew about Goku and Vegeta, but he never knew about these two. So it would be pretty problematic in the future if they are to be found out by Beerus. So they want to make sure that their husbands are strong enough to practically at least give something of a challenge to Beerus. And Whis is kind of jokes to himself as he sees the two practically being panicked about that. He knows his Lord best, but he believes that maybe he will not do that. Maybe. But guys, this is the end for this part. Hope you guys enjoy this. I'll see you guys in the next one. Sign out, my Z fans. See you next time, everyone.